Hello and welcome to Kelly's Wordy Reactions. So, I found this interesting clip and I thought I would share it with you all. So, this is going to be U.S. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. She spoke about responding to fear and anxiety in the wake of recent federal workforce and spending cuts and other policies of the Trump administration. Murkowski spoke at a leadership conference hosted by the Foraker Group in Anchorage on April 14th, 2025. All right, so this was just a few days ago, and let's go ahead and get into it and see what the senator had to say, the Republican senator. I thought this was very interesting. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Um, yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, please. Will this, begin to start becoming more contagious? What I've been wondering is if all the Republicans feel this way, is everybody just, in on what's going on? Um, do some people want to do something different? If so, who's going to have some bravery and step up? Um, what's going on in the background? So let's listen to Senator Lisa Murkowski, Republican, Alaska.
Part of what I have been doing with my team is just trying to listen as carefully as I can to what is happening and how it is happening and the impacts that it is having on the ground. And we're honest up front in saying we don't have all the answers, but we're trying to unlock at different opportunities and in different ways as much as we can. And it is as hard as anything that I have been engaged in the 20 plus years I've been in the Senate.
What do you have to say to people who are afraid or who represent people who are afraid?
We are all.
I want to stop right there because it's kind of faint what the young lady is saying, the question she's asking. She said, what do you have to say to people who are afraid? Or what do you have to say to people who are representing people who are afraid? So we'll scoot back a little bit and get her answer. And, this is where I just want to know what y'all think. Do y'all think she's being genuine? These town halls, this is not a town hall, this is a leadership conference, but the places where these Republicans have been speaking out have been rough. It's been tumultuous. It's been, rough and rowdy. And people are upset. People are afraid. So, on the one hand, I like the fact that she seems to kind of be like a crack in the wall. On the other hand, if you're just trying to avoid the people, not the administration, but if you're just trying to avoid the people taking out their frustrations on you, then maybe you come out and say stuff like this when really in the background, you are you are throwing all the rocks you can. You are throwing rocks and hiding your hand. And, that's a real possibility. So, anyway, like I said, what do y'all think? Is she genuine? Is she just as much in on all of this administration's agenda as she can be? So, let's hear her out. Sorry about that. Let her say her piece.
Say to people who are afraid or who represent people who are afraid.
We are all afraid. Okay. It's quite a statement. But we are, we're in a time and a place where I don't know, I certainly I have not been here before. And I'll tell you, I'm oftentimes very anxious myself about using my voice, because retaliation is real, and that's not right. But that's what you've asked me to do. And so I'm going to use my voice to the best of my ability. And sometimes it will be viewed in a way that, well, that's pretty confrontational. And other times it's going to be using my mother's charm that I learned as a young girl, and in direct communication with those that I have made relationships with, and am able to affect some change that way. But I've got to figure out how I can do my best to help the many who are so anxious and are so afraid. I've been in airports, I've been in meetings, I've been in hallways, I've been in my own office in Washington, D.C., where people have shared what has happened within their world, where they end up in tears because they thought that they were in a profession they'd given so much to, and thought that they were doing well, and literally with no notice whatsoever are terminated and told that their work performance was not satisfactory, which was not true, and didn't know what was going to happen next. The fear that I have heard from people who have said, I'm afraid to talk to my coworkers about the status of where we are, because will I be viewed as questioning my my supervisors or my commitment to the agency here. These are unscripted moments where I am not soliciting them, and people are not planning on sharing them with me, almost serendipitous in an airport. And so these are real emotions, these are real people, these are real fears, and they need to be heard.
Okay. That's what she had to say, or at least in that clip of that conference, anyway. So, like I said, that's what we have from Lisa Murkowski, Senator or Republican Senator of Alaska. Um, I want to know what you all think. So please drop some comments down in the comments section. Let me know. And yes, I'll just this conference was April 14th, like I stated before. So this was just only a few days ago, April 14th, 2025. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you think, this is, coming from a place of true honesty, or is she just trying to not get yelled at by her constituents? I don't know. It's a toss up. You definitely, it's not the day and time when you can just believe everything that you hear and take things for face value. You have to look at people's actions. You have to look at what they're actually doing in the forefront and the background. Um, you have to look at what they're signing on to. You have to look at everything, because deception is rampant. Yeah, deception is rampant. And, you know, values ain't values no more. The things that we, take for granted as values, we now at this point we have to, really question what people actually value by looking at what they actually do. All right, that's all I got for now. Thank you for tapping in, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.